And here we are, live once again, as we are every Wednesday with the High Noon Hemp Show on the Hemptations Beach page on the old Facebook. Here once again, into season 2. I'm, of course, Joe Clare. We have Beach live from Hemp Quarters. How are things in the cold north there, Beach?
Things are cold in the high north. We'll call it the high north here.
There we go.
Welcome, everyone. Episode 2, Season 2 of the High Noon Hemp Show. It is a cold, a little snow on the ground. So, that's always nice to see, I suppose. Doesn't bother me. I drive a Jeep, so I'm not afraid of the snowy weather as far as getting around. But yeah, it is what it is. Gives me an excuse to bundle up in some hemp clothing, which I like to do. But getting things started, I wasn't sure if I was gonna save this to the end if we didn't have any questions, but we got questions, so I'm gonna start right out of the gate. I have to go into this guy. He called the stores frauds. He called me a disservice to my cause. This is all over a Facebook post where I was defending nature. Yeah, the whole thing started with this story that was they were blaming the smell of cannabis for some school out in Colorado or something. The kids were complaining of headaches and this and that and all the other, and they were blaming cannabis that was being grown somewhere close. And right out of the gate, I already know there has already been a lawsuit in Colorado. It went to the courts already, and cannabis was not deemed to be a noxious odor. Now, what makes it something a noxious odor? It's not the smell. It's the chemicals that maybe make the smell or included in the smell. To be noxious, it has to be harmful or poisonous. Now, instead of saying we got to shut this place down, this is definitively the only thing that could possibly be causing this. The courts have already decided that it's not noxious, so there must be science there already saying that that's probably not possible. Perhaps go some other avenues and look what else might be wrong with the school. Or perhaps maybe the kids are just taking advantage
of
the so-called noxious odor. Be like,
terrible
headache.
God, I can't study
smell.
today.
I can't go to school anymore, which I think is hilarious because once again, one of my posts, I said I grew up in Kentucky. Okay, now in my elementary schools, both of my elementary schools were on the outside of Richmond, Kentucky. And there were smells on days where, you couldn't close the window. You could do whatever you could, but guess what? They weren't going away. But guess what? It was nature. It was nature. One of the things I said is my youngest lives on a street that has ginkgo trees. And if you have ever smelled the smell of a ginkgo berry, you would be protesting nature with big placards if your issue is smells, because they are the worst smelling fruit on the planet. But guess what, man? These trees line the streets, and these berries are there a lot. And so you just step around them, because if you step on them, you might as well have stepped in a big pile of something you didn't want to step in. But even when that happens, it's not necessarily noxious. So anyway, I'm a fraud. The stores are a fraud. I thought that was interesting. He just, went after the stores. I don't know in what way the stores are a fraud.
I was going to say, how do you get from disagreeing on a matter of law, basically, to, hey, you really suck, and your stores suck, and everything about you sucks? How does that transition go?
Usually it goes with me winning the debate. Usually that's how I know I've won the debate, because I'm not arguing, I'm debating. I know sometimes I get a little harsh, maybe a little harsh, when I'm defending the planet, because I do this because the noxious smell, the supposed noxious smell, can't defend itself. It can't say, hey, guess what? I'm not bad for you. You have to figure that out. So that's where my voice is. And sometimes, when I stand up as the Lorax, when the inner Lorax comes out, the Lorax was a gruffy guy because he was upset. He was mad. I'm upset. I'm mad. Don't point fingers at nature when nature probably isn't the problem. I think that's just, quite ridiculous to begin with. Find out first. And again, it's obviously been studied. Cannabis has been growing close to us. I feel as a kid, because we were actually out in rural Kentucky, when that days lasting smell of skunk, that we were like, man, there's got to be the skunks must be attacking, because we're 12-year-old kids. We don't know. Come to find out, it's the cannabis that's growing out in the hills, going to flower and making a smell that our noses might not like, but it's not going to kill us.
What are the you may know this, Beach. You can ask anything, Beach. I'll ask Beach something. Because you encounter them all the time when you're driving, especially in certain places. Something that smells exactly like cat pee, but it's like a bush or a tree. And I find these things everywhere. And when you start talking about noxious odors, that's the first thing I start thinking of. Is I drive by these cat bushes all the time. Nobody's doing anything about that. There's no.
Somebody Google that and find out what plants smell like cat pee.
Where can I go to protest these plants?
And how dare we tell nature not to smell? It's like, come on. And, again, his argument, and he said he was trying to help me. That was the other thing. He came back, He came back in this final post, because I finally was done with the post. And I said, I'm not coming back here again. This is the most ridiculous discussion. At this point, it become ridiculous because, again, he was starting to attack me already. So I'm not coming back here. So what does he do? He goes to one of the first posts on the page, a different post, and he posts his defense on there, because I told him I wasn't going to go back. So he's trying to get his last word in. And in that post, he says he was trying to help me.
Yes. It's all for your benefit.
And also, calling me the store is a fraud. And he attacked the slogan, one of our slogans. And I don't know, probably on Hemptations Beach is probably the reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. And again, I blatantly stole the reduce, reuse, recycle part of that. I wholeheartedly cannot take credit for that. I added the make everything else out of hemp part. And so, I guess he's half insulting whoever was the first person who thought reduce, reuse, recycle. And he's half insulting me for coming up with the idea of making everything else out of hemp, which I believe is a semi-realistic goal in life. He said that I was a disservice to my cause, to which I responded to him, I doubt you really know what my cause is. Yeah. Do you have, this particular feed is about noxious odors. Do you think that I'm running around to every noxious odor post and article about smells? No, that's nothing to do with that. I'm defending nature. My life is about defending nature, because once again, as the Lorax said it best, I speak for the trees have no tongues. That hit me when I was a kid. And it still stands with me when it comes to having to defend nature. So that was, I had to get it off my chest. Sometimes people call me a fraud, and the store's a fraud. I'm sorry. I'm a disservice. The stores are a fraud. My slogan sucks.
I don't understand how the stores could be a fraud anyway, unless the stuff you were selling wasn't made from hemp, and you were defrauding people and selling them plastic. I don't know.
Yeah. If he went to the website and he didn't read the top part and all he just saw was the list of CBD products, and he didn't read the list of all the other hemp products that we have, or stop to believe for 1 second that we actually do have, and I'll say it, again, and I'll say it again and again, the largest selection of hemp on the planet. With new stuff, new hemp products coming in weekly. And so, every once in a while, I get insulted in a way that I have to be like, come on.
Little fun on social media.
Ridiculous. Little fun on social media. Just trying to defend smells so to speak, or nature. It's really defending nature. I don't care what kind of nature it is. And so, we move on. He, in the long run, that particular person proved what kind of human he was, because name calling to me is like, really, it's like on the bottom of the list of acceptable behaviors in humans. I mean, I gave it up a long time ago when I realized how little you get out of name calling. And I pay no attention to it. Again, I know that's the end. I know enough to pay enough attention to it to know that that's the end of a debate when people resort to that. And so I guess, I'll go on with my disservice to my cause and my fraud
we continue
of the
on.
stores. We're not closing, everyone. Store alert, we are not closing because I have been deemed a fraud by some dude on Facebook. I'm sorry, the stores are a fraud. I myself am not a fraud. I'm a disservice.
At least he didn't attack the show. That's good.
He hasn't yet, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if somehow he's not going to log in and come in just in time to have missed this rant.
I didn't know you had a show. Your show sucks too.
Yeah, you're right. Get off the air. Get off the free air. I'm going to boycott the advertisers. Which are Temptations? Those stores are frauds. Oh, shoot.
Temptations.com for locations.
Temptations.com for locations, which is literally and figuratively, or literally and literally. The locations are there. There are 4 of them.
FOUR and FOR.
That's right. And as well as all the other stuff, we've got I usually, I do publish the news stuff on there. You can join the newsletter, which the newsletter did go out. Did you get that newsletter number 2?
I do not think I did.
Oh man, I did get it. And so maybe check your spam box. It was funny because I sent out newsletter number 2 because newsletter number 1 didn't go out and I didn't know it. So newsletter number 2 is actually newsletter number 1. I will, if you join the newsletter at the website, on the website, I will clarify things in the next newsletter as to why the sequential of things went wrong. But yeah, that's it. I did get it.
I will make sure to look for that because I'm not finding it right now.
Yeah.
I will search
it should have come
various folders.
Should have come from good old Temptations. And so, all that and some more. So, last week we did show the original, the first animated holidays commercial. And this week we're going to show you the second animated holidays commercial. We only get 30 seconds this time because I only have one version. Ignore the fact that it has the Coreyville address. Just in your head, think Northside. If you read it just right now, I want you to just transfer that to Northside. We are getting them edited for broadcast as we speak. And so as soon as I have the new edited versions with just the website and for info, I'll post those too. That being said, before the product spotlights, here is the Temptations Holidays commercial. Number 2. Dudes, this is going to be a great hemp giving holidays.
Last year could have been better.
Don't worry. This year brings the largest selection of hemp, including CBD supplements and topicals, the newest vaporizers, and a new Temptations in Dayton, and of course, much, much more.
Sweet!
And Temptations for 20 years plus has been the procrastination destination for all your holidays goods. Temptations.com. Having holidays Temptations?
There we go.
There you have it. And the other thing that I just saw this week, this is crazy. I'm glad that I didn't do this because I don't usually put that on there, but this would have been a trip. But there is now a South Park episode. Have you seen the vape episode of South Park?
I don't think so.
Well, you can Google it, and Randy buys a farm to grow cannabis and hemp. And the shirt for the thing says 100% hemp, really big on the front. And so it looks like me in my hemp shirt. And I did this way before they did it, just so you know. And then what's funny is, again, he grows it, and the product lineup is vape products. And then it's hemp milk and some other actual hemp product. And so I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think
going into them. Go ahead.
I think on Hulu I'm in like somewhere in season 20 of South Park. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I've seen, what I haven't seen. It's that way with The Simpsons too. I've seen maybe 60 or 70% of them, and then the rest I'm not even sure I'm missing. There's so many of them.
Yeah. You mentioned Springfield, just so everybody knows. Springfield was in fact founded by Jebediah something Springfield for growing hemp for rope and other stuff. That is the line from The Simpsons. That is why Springfield was in fact founded, and to religious freely, I think is the exact words. Grow hemp for rope and other stuff, and to religious freely. That's why Springfield
That's all you need.
became. Anyway, crazy trivia today, man. We're absorbing it. Let's move on to the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. The first one is the Organobus products. These are CBD products. The gummies are probably the customer favorite. They also have some capsules and sugar sticks and actual little nasal inhalers. But this is definitely one of the customer favorites over the years. We've been carrying their products for quite a while when it comes to relative to CBD products. And the gummies seem to be very popular with the customers because this gives them an actual dosage that they know each one is a certain amount of CBD. Excuse me. And so there you have it, the good old Organobus CBD products. Moving on to that is a product that a lot of people out there name will recognize, and that is Dr. Bronner's. You can find Dr. Bronner's products at a lot of your all-natural shopping, Whole Foods. I believe they carry their line of stuff. Possibly, I don't know. But, these guys have been, again, around for a long time and putting hemp in their products for a long time. Their product packaging is probably the best to someone like myself on the planet because they waste zero amount of space on their packaging. And if you can look kind of at it, you can see there's a lot of small print. And it's all trivia and facts and weird information and this and that. That goes on to that bottle, or most of their products, regardless. So I love them for that. I love them for using hemp. They're huge. They're huge. Going next into kind of a smaller but big name, the Laura's hemp chocolates. Now, Laura's was actually originally Laura's Lean Beef in Kentucky, and she sold Laura's Lean Beef and started making Laura's hemp chocolates. And so we have wafers and bark and truffles, all using Kentucky grown hulled hemp seed. And so it's local, basically to Kentucky, very local to us, American grown, I like to say, and good. We don't eat a whole lot of snack stuff, but when we do, we try to do like the dark chocolate wafers are really good. Dark chocolate's much better for you. The darker the chocolate, the better it is for us, so to speak, if it has favorable things. But it's a good snack every once in a while when you treat yourself to a snack. And the last product from the store is brand spanking new for the most part. I think we've only been carrying their stuff for maybe a month or two, and that's the Kind Hemp Company. And so here you have their socks. They also have some beanie-style hats. These guys are pretty new to the hemp game, so to speak, but I really like I'm going to take a pair of their socks home with me today to get a feel, but I can already tell you I really like the thickness. It's definitely kind of a winter weight. But I think you can wear them year round because hemp does breathe pretty well, wicks pretty well. Another reason why I think diabetics, we've heard from our diabetic customers, that they really like the feel of the hemp socks. Their most diabetics' feet are sensitive. And so a couple sizes. I'm not sure I think we might have already run out of the natural and the large, so I need to reorder those already. And so anyway, that's good. The New Kind Hemp Company, new to the shelves of Hemptations for the most part. And the one from my door, 4 from the store, there they were. One from my door are my hemp towels. Now, the towel on the right, I have had for probably at least 10 years, maybe 15. That's from a company that's probably been out of business for 10 years. And the funniest thing about these things is they're 100% hemp. It literally took me like a year, it seemed like, of washing and using before it started to absorb, because naturally hemp repels water. And so it will repel before it will actually become soaked. That's why I think another reason why it became good for cordage and all that other stuff, and why the canvas, basically the water will run off the canvas until you're out in the rain for a while, and obviously it does begin to soak. But again, I've had this particular company, and I have a couple of these, and I switch them out, clean to dirty, but I almost use them almost every day. So it's almost, if I was just to estimate 10 years at most of the year, 300, that's the 3,000 uses.
Wow.
1,500 maybe per towel, 1,000. I could go minimum 1,000 use. I've probably used that towel in 10 years. And I think the other one that I have does have a hole in it, but the hole is staying because of the way it's woven. The hole is kind of staying where it's at, and the rest of the towel is staying together. And the other side, I believe those towels are new from Enviro Textiles, which is a company that we love for their fabrics and everything they do for the hemp game. And I think we sell those, or we did. I think we're out right now because they're out, but we sell those in a hand towel. And so they're fraying, it seems like, but staying together. So I think, they're, as weaves get worked out, they find out what works what for better and whatnot. And so those are products I use every day for the most part. A disservice to my cause. As I've heard.
Hemp products.
So anyway,
speaking of fraudulent hemp products,
yeah,
of course, the greatest segment ever.
The greatest segment
ever in Facebook history. I don't know if it's official yet. We haven't been contacted by Facebook, but I expect at least an email soon for them to say, "Look, we've seen a lot of segments on Facebook, but none are more popular than the beachwear segment on the High Noon Hemp Show." So, what are you wearing, Beach?
What are you wearing, Beach? Well, today I have on my lid, so to speak, starting from the top to the bottom. That is a Prana hat. And the interesting part about this is it's not the back part, the fabric part, that's hemp. It's the woven part that's actually supposed to be hemp paper. It's that's the rumor. And again, this is a Prana. I know I just saw an article. Prana is releasing yet another huge line of hemp clothing. And so we do not sell Prana, but I encourage everyone to go to women, children, adults alike, and go to Prana's website and just check out all the hemp clothing that they have. And then my hemp hoodlam brown pea coat. This is a very nice, elegant jacket, so to speak. I just like wearing their stuff because it's nice and warm, and when it's cold out, I like to be warm. But this is definitely a little bit on the dressier side. If you're going out, and you want to be warm and you want to look good, so to speak. Not that I don't want to look good every day. It is a little on the classier side. I've got the Headcase Camp Swag T-shirt. This T-shirt, probably 15 years old because Headcase hasn't been around for a while either. I think I have a Camp Swag Headcase hat that they made as well. And moving on to the Mendo Hemp dungarees or pants, so to speak. These are nice. It's not really a jean. It's hard to describe kind of the material, but they're definitely comfortable. Those are Mendo Hemp. I'm not sure that Mendo Hemp still exists. I hope that they do. I should probably find out. Satori Boxers and Satori Hemp. You can see the Satori socks, again, out of the same brown as the shoes and have a little bit of the red. These are my Levi high tops. And so that's right. These particular hemp shoes were made by Levi. They have a couple boots, I believe, where they use hemp material, some hemp canvas in a boot as well. And so I've been trying to find an excuse to finally get these worn, period. I think this is the first time I've worn them. And to get them on the show because they're a little bit different, as I have not worn them yet in 14 episodes of the High Noon Hemp Show. There are my Levi high tops. So if you woke up this morning and you said to yourself, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. There it is, folks.
You were clamoring. I know there's some people, they have to be out there every week. They just wait for this segment to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And how, and mainly to know how to dress.
So that's right. You made it to the middle of the show.
Now you know how to dress. Get an outfit together tomorrow. Now you know what to go for.
That's right. That's right. If you want to be a disservice to your cause, then now you know how to wear from head to toe. You know how to do it. That's right. So, all right, there you got. Let's move on down to the hemp news. I'm trying to get to the questions because we actually have multiple questions today. So I'm going to buzz through the hemp news. There's a little bit of stuff that's coming on. Actually, this weekend or in the days coming up, December 6th, you have something called the Benefits of Hemp at the American Dental Association Craft Fair and Bake Sale in Chicago.
Wow.
So if you're in the Chicago area, I would find out what the American Dental Association has to say about the benefits of hemp. Honestly, I'm very curious. I know it's the Craft Fair and Bake Sale, but apparently someone's going to be discussing it. So, or maybe setting up a booth. I don't know. It's interesting. December 7th, you have the Cannabis and Hemp Science Seminar in Knoxville, Tennessee. And so if you're in the Knoxville, Tennessee area, anytime you put hemp and science, you've piqued my interest. I would like to hear, just about anyone. I know just about as much as I can, but I do believe the subject of hemp and science could be very interesting. So that's in Knoxville. January 12th, you have the history of hemp in Big Rapids, Michigan. Not only could that be an interesting reason just to go to Michigan, we all know that their legalization, personal use program is starting soon. So if you feel like that's a good reason to visit Michigan,
tomorrow,
maybe go to Big Rapids on January 12th and learn about the history of hemp. And so that is interesting. And then, the Hemp Today stuff, the Asian Summit, I've been talking about that, the event in Poland. Those are in February. February 25th, you have the Central U.S. Hemp Growers Conference and Expo in Rochester, Minnesota. And then the National Hemp Expo, April 13th, 14th in Louisville. They have an event on Facebook as well. So there you have it. I've burned through what I've got for hemp news.
Of course, you can find the events and all that stuff at hemptations.com, of course.
That's right. When I update it as much as I can possibly update it, I try to update it as frequently as I can. And I think I figured out how to do it on my iPad now. And so, I might, I'm kind of excited. I did a little bit of, I didn't think I could, but maybe I can. So, all right.
It's a lesson. Well,
we actually had posted something on my Facebook page about questions, and we actually have some questions. So I'm going to get to the questions segment of the show with the most amount of questions we've ever had on Ask Beach Anything. So Here we go. First question comes from Benjamin. Benjamin asks, if the Farm Bill goes through, I'm going to try to cover up my camera again. Remember that one? If the Farm Bill goes through, will Ohio farmers and small growers be able to grow without a license this spring? That's kind of a trick question. I am going to say no as things stand currently. I do believe that the state of Ohio will still have to set up a industrial hemp program through the Department of Agriculture. I think it will be much easier to do now if, and again, this is if the Farm Bill gets through. We're feeling very positive. It may actually be done before the end of the year. I think they finally made amends with the whatever non-related to the hemp thing. And so we're pretty confident that it is going to go through, which takes hemp off the controlled substance list. Now, what I think that will do is hopefully have Ohio say, okay, fine. There is zero reason why we shouldn't set up a industrial hemp program if we need to. I don't think, and I have to see the final verbiage, to be honest with you, because if it just piggybacks the verbiage from the Agricultural Act of 2014, then we will definitely have to set up a program. I doubt that they're taking it off the controlled substance list and not saying that you still have to go through a state program. Yeah. And so, and again, I think that it will make things a lot easier, but the state of Ohio will still have to do something by April, probably at least, to get that set up. So if Farm Bill gets passed, state of Ohio in January says, hey, okay, we've seen enough. We're going to write some, we're going to pass some type of industrial hemp legislation. We could conceivably see that passed and people being qualified to grow industrial hemp in Ohio in the spring. Currently, if the Farm Bill passes and Ohio doesn't do anything, no. We will not be able to, I don't believe, grow industrial hemp in the state of Ohio. But I am, I like to be hopeful because, the only thing that's really been dragging the state and the Department of Agriculture is the controlled substance thing, even though under the Agricultural Act of 2014, even though you had to go through the DEA, the seed was removed from the controlled substance list once the DEA did that. This takes the DEA out of the picture. If it's an industrial hemp seed that's been approved either internationally as an industrial hemp seed or in the United States as an industrial hemp seed, then, again, I think you'll still have to go through a state, the Department of Agriculture, or a university pilot program. I don't think that this will make it a free as lettuce, as some people like to say, yet. That will probably be hopefully the next agricultural act will do that. So I don't think it will make it free as lettuce. But I do believe that it will make all the states that have been dragging their feet, or any state that's been dragging their feet, I think will hopefully finally say, all right, enough is enough. It's not on the controlled substance list anymore. Let's do something about it.
You would think.
So, it's still kind of a wait and see in Ohio. A couple things have to happen. I think one is going to happen. I don't know if the second is going to happen. I'm slightly hopeful, but I'm not going to be looking into seed yet. Not for next year anyway. But we'll see. Rhoda asked, what is the best CBD product for someone with chronic pain, including severe TMJ and fatigue, that really wants to be off pain meds? Well, I think the thing to consider, and again, sublingual, the tincture under the tongue, is the quickest way to get CBD into your system. I think that the thing that you have to consider is you have to decide. I can't give you medical advice, but from the question, your problems are severe, which means that you may have to look into a higher milligram dose to actually aid you with what's going on, and I know that gets a little pricey, for a 1,500 milligram or whatnot product. I think that you have to, you got to get it into your system and get it used to it. Sometimes it takes days to really absorb it and then use it at the point of needing it as well. And so, that's why the tincture is kind of easy because even if you're out in public and you feel some pain coming on, or you're having side effects that you think the CBD will help with, you can just drop a little in your mouth, let it sit under your tongue, and nobody should really notice, and you can go on your day. If what you're going through, our customers use the topicals. If there is an area that you're trying to pinpoint, I myself again use a topical, and so and even then a higher milligram topical, is maybe something that you're searching for. If you're looking for something that's more severe, chronic, type of situation. I know that, it's tough, I think, for customers that are looking for relief in this manner sometimes, because it can be a little pricey. But, as she has stated, she wants to be off pain meds, and those cause more damage. It's it is what it is. But I do know that long-term use of pain medicine is not the solution for pain. Pain comes from inflammation, as I have read or seen or heard. Again, I'm not a doctor, and so we know that our customers. And you can go online and find this. Use CBD for the inflammation aspects. Now with the fatigue, it's kind of a tricky. I guess there's kind of a tricky part there, because our customers also use it for anxiety and sleeping issues, and so it's not. And there are I think some of our capsules that are meant to be more of something you want to use during the day, as opposed to something you want to be used at night. But as you use more CBD, that's probably going to make you tired. Now, it might be easier to actually get a nap or sleep. If you're sleeping better, the fatigue might go away. People don't understand that not getting enough rest doesn't cause fatigue. Okay. Fatigue can be a side effect of not getting enough rest, but there are more factors, I believe, when it comes to fatigue, because it's more related to the body. I believe in the whole body being, wanting to be relieved, or I'm not sure how to describe it. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I do know that having sleep issues is not the same as fatigue. Fatigue fatigue can be a side effect, but there are other manners that cause fatigue. And so regulating that right. Again, even the capsule takes a little while, but if it's something chronic, then again, you could relieve to a capsule. And again, we have capsules that are more something you take during the day. So capsules something more you take during the night, to help sleep or get you through your day one way or another. And so, it's tough. Doesn't work for everyone, but we do have a chart in the store where the customer can decide, the severity, and the milligram dosage and things like that, to get them through. And again, the sublingual is the quickest way. It's the quickest way to get it into your system. And it may just be, you got to find that dosage that goes along with whatever it is you may be looking for, the relief you are looking for. And so, that's that's the advice that I can give, Rhoda. And anyone else out there that's looking for that relief. I went online to do. When it comes to those type of things, I go online to do the research. Again, I'm not a doctor. I've been trained in these things. I just go online and try to find the information to see, and it's all out there. When it comes to CBD, there is a lot of information. Find the reliable source. Don't take in more than one source specific to what it is you may be looking for the relief for. Try it. If it doesn't work, you've tried it. You can up the dosage a little bit. And again, there's not too much. You can't take too much. And so, just be careful, start small, as we like to say, and then move up, and that's no matter what you're doing. Ryan asked, do you have any information you can point me to confirming that medical dispensaries don't cause an increase in crime? Honestly, I can't say that I have any specific place that you could go to. I would guess that there has to be some type of information out there over the years in specific places. I think that if they could, I myself would say that I think that if they could prove that that was true, that somehow the media would have a field day with that, with those statistics.
I do think
every once in a while,
several studies into that. I would have to look up the link specifically, but I could find them in a few minutes if you want to. We could.
Yeah, I suppose I should have given you that question prior, because it is true, Joe. Joe is the medical cannabis, the personal use cannabis expert.
Yes, all aspects of cannabis and culture and all that crap. I'm reading that stuff all day. But off the top of my head, I think the RAND Corporation did a study that shows that. But I think there's been several others as well. I've seen at least a few. So they're definitely out there. Obviously, you just want to go to Google and put in, crime and medical marijuana dispensaries or something along those lines. You'll probably get some feedback. But yeah, there have been studies that have shown that it's not that the crime doesn't increase. One of the reasons, obviously, is that medical marijuana patients aren't a bunch of thugs and ruffians are going to come riot in your neighborhood. But other reasons include a lot of medical marijuana dispensaries have cameras, and they're known to have cameras that survey the area, and that always obviously cuts down on crime. And factors like that, there's the main problems you're going to have medical marijuana dispensaries, especially if there's only a few of them, is like parking and traffic and stuff like that. I know the two recreational dispensaries they just opened up in Massachusetts. One was so packed, people were complaining because everybody had to park on their street, and there was people going up and down in front of their house all the time, and
illegal parking.
Yes, they had to expand a parking lot, and they had to get a cop down there to direct traffic, and it was horrible. So, if there's a shortage, and if you're the only dispensary within like 50 miles, you might have some traffic problems in your area for a little while until they get it figured out. But yeah, the crime thing is it's definitely a myth that the presence of medical marijuana dispensaries somehow increases crime. That just doesn't happen.
I would like to see the real statistics somehow of anything. They always make that argument when some morally suggestive place wants to open somewhere. They always say, "Oh, it'll increase crime," and I'm like, "Come on, well, show us some studies." I mean, again, I would like to see one study that says opening any one particular, whether it's a casino or it's a dance club, or again, all these things that are based on morals. These places that people consensually agree to go to. I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not defending them in that manner. But I'd like to see where any of that's true. I mean, what causes crime to go up is poverty and inequality, and and I think that moving successful businesses into neighborhoods, regardless of the nature of them, makes more sense than the sheer fact that this is my opinion. I haven't read any studies, but to me, inequality, and I mean social inequality, and poverty are the leading reasons for crime. And those neighborhoods are everywhere. And the only way to change that, again, is to bring businesses one way or another that bring responsible people and pay, to be there or whatever, and up to police, which they very little do. I don't understand why they don't take the revenues from the property taxes and all that from the safe neighborhoods, and then, but I'm not here to argue that either.
Government is not efficient.
That's right. If it does raise the rate of crime, then they will put a doorman on the door that is probably armed. They will personally have security to make sure that they keep their customers safe.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
in no way would they want their customers to be unsafe. These are patients, and that's what I believe is true. And there you have it.
Absolutely.
And the last question out there is a short one, but easy one because I don't really have an answer. This is a question for all our viewers. Is from Stacy, and then she asks, anyone out there want to fix a cannabis? And this is apropos for more than one reason, because the cannabis Stacy speaks of is in fact in my parking lot. She was trying to have it fixed up in the Toledo area, was having problems. So I said, well, let's bring it down here. We have a garage. We just need a mechanic that is prevalent in the diesel engines of things to switch out the engine, figure out how to do it. So if anybody in the Cincinnati area that works on diesel engines can help us get the cannabis rolling, my personal goal would be to have it rolling by 4/20 of 2019.
That would be nice.
So, Stacy, I don't know, but I hope someone out there can pass on the word to anybody in the Cincinnati area that knows anything about diesel engines, and they can come to the Sharonville location and at least take a look and see what's going on.
That would not be me.
That would not be me either.
I'm sure I could drive a bus if you pressured me to have to do so.
Yeah. Our mechanic at SMS Garage, who basically is by appointment, he doesn't really work on diesels either. And so, we have the space, the indoor space. Mm-hmm. We just need that right diesel mechanic for that right cannabis friendly price, so to speak. This is all being done with donations. I suppose we could start another donation drive to gather some funds. But we're trying to get this done without spending too much. Great cause. Stacy, when the bus was running, was driving all over the country. It is clearly pro cannabis on the side. I can shoot some pictures maybe out there. And so not having it on the road is doing a disservice to my cause.
Trying to service the cause. It's not easy.
I don't want to be a disservice to my cause any more than I already am. Anyway, there you have it, folks. Man, I thought we were going to go long. We're a little long. Might be the longest show ever, but not by much.
People love it.
So people love it. I don't know if they love it or not. But I sure can ramble if I get. I know we had a lot of good stuff to talk about today. I'm glad we got it all in. Like there's a time limit. I don't know who we bump.
Got another show coming in the studio. We're gonna clear out.
Yeah, clear out. So anyway, as I like to say, the slogan that sucks: reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See you next week.